Ahoy, ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing? Hang on, what am I doing here? This is weird. Put that on, bosh. And boom, there we are. How are you doing? I'm here. Crikey, that was a rush as well. I was in the shop 10 minutes ago. And I had to double around the lanes because I was getting booze because I've invited all my employees over for New Year's. And this being America, many of them may not turn up, but I still need to buy all the booze. All right? Hang on, I've got the wrong overlay on as well. Wait there. Where's my BBC Spews one gone? They've changed all this shit. Oh, there he is. Bosh. There we go. And it's sunny, so I'm going to have to sit back a little bit because that'll annoy me as well. How's everyone doing? Huzzah! It's welcome to the BBC Spews on New Year's Eve live. It's the 31st of December, obviously. And the time in the UK, I've been led to believe, is 3 minutes past 8. But it's only noon here, 3 minutes past noon. So that's weird, isn't it? Still, not quite as bad as Australia. I have got a cough. Apparently there's something going around at work. I've been told that there's some... Can I move this screen a bit? So let me see if I can move my desk back a bit, because that sun's really going to piss me off. How's that? There we go. Much better. Only took a few inches. There we go. Marvellous. Yeah, so I'm doing all right. I have got a bit of a cold or something. Something's going about. And everyone's been balking. Bill Beebe's turned his music off to watch this because Bill Beebe's got much more taste. What are you going to do? Listen to me or listen to Enya? Well, she's got nothing interesting to say. And none of us can understand anything she says anyway. So who cares? Wow, Daz Nielsen gifted 10 Angry Bootneck memberships apparently. So grab them while you can. I don't know how that works. But it's the thought that counts. Cheers, Daz. Richie Erickton, 20 nicker off him, straight off the bat. Crike, it's definitely better doing streams when people are pissed. They're more likely to get you appointed. Richie Erickton, thanks very much. Loves the channel and all in the chat. Here's a beer for you. I'm off to have a beer with the old tramps down the boozer. All right, you go and do that. They're probably more interesting than me because I still haven't had a beer yet. And Daz Neil, thanks very much for an 8 and centre. Cheers, mate. Much appreciated. But we don't do this for money. We do it for love, don't we? We do it for love. You know it. And I know it. And there's loads of things to love about the UK. It's too quiet. Oh, hang on. Lots of people whinging about me mic. Wait there. How's that? Yeti Nano. Turn the mic volume up. Testing. Is that better? Should be. I'll put it up a little bit. All right, crikey. Loads of whinging. I'll give you a second for it to work. Much better. There we go. Again, there's always something with a PC, isn't there? Updated me software and then it all went tits up. Right. Have you seen my last video about the honours list? Brilliant, that, isn't it? There is some absolute detritus of humanity on that honours list this year, isn't there? Let's have a look, see if there's any good things popped up on Twitter while I was in the gym. Jimmy Carter, there's another one. See, they're all singing his praises because he's in the big club that you aren't in. They're all sucking him off all day now on the news, aren't they? Every day this week has been, oh, Jimmy Carter, he was a true hero. I don't know much about Jimmy Carter, but I believe he gets blamed for selling the Panama Canal for $1, handing Iran over to the Ayatollahs, and generally being a wet blanket with the political nuance and geopolitical intelligence, interest in winning the great game as a ham sandwich. So who cares what Jimmy Carter has to say? Again, being a civilised, reasonable bootneck, I never gloat over anyone's demise, but I reserve the right to not pretend I'm bothered. And I'm sure they'd do the same to me. When I kick the bucket, they'll smear me one and they'll say, oh my God, he was 2 steps right of Adolf, that fella. So, yeah, who cares? Who cares what they say? Jimmy Carter was a knobhead, and I left my opinion there. I know a little about Jim Carter. Obviously, I'm not going to call him president. But if he is like most career politicians, he's probably somewhere between Ted Bundy and Joseph Fritzl on the good moral character list, regardless of what he says in public. And the fact Ursula von der Scheisseporn and CNN say he's a saint confirms my suspicions. Is that not a logical and rational way to approach life? In it, if career politicians, Keir Starmer, Ursula von der Scheisse, and the likes of the BBC say they're a good person, they definitely aren't. So, buzzing. Easy. If they're for it, I'm against it. It's a very simplistic rule that'll serve you well in life. What else have we got here? There we are. That's what I think of Gareth Southgate. They're like, oh, look at Sir Gareth. Look at the clip of him. Nose like a builder's elbow. Got the best Borough team in years relegated and won nothing with England. He should be selling hot dogs outside the Den. The big-nosed throbber. This is what I hate about it. This is what I do hate about my nation of birth, right? We love losers. We love a loser in England. I think you can get by without having the sort of, what is it, like an arrogant smugness that the USA gets, and certainly is, I think, rightfully accused of in many instances. That whole USA thing, best in the world. I don't think you should do that. But you shouldn't celebrate losing like we do in the UK. They love the top dog, and we love the like alley cat out here, don't we? Or what other euphemism? They like the top cat, and we like the underdog. There we go. That's a better one. And it's not something I can get behind for. Like, honestly, we love a loser. Tiger Tim. Do you remember Henman Hill? He couldn't win at Wimbledon if every other player was using a flip-flop instead of a tennis racket. That's how useless he was. Tiger Tim. Tin Pot Tim. Anglo-Saxon, give me an 8 and 10. Cheers, mate. All the best to 2025. Matt, have a bevy on me. I will do. I'll have many bevies in about 3 hours when I've tidied the house up. Sigma Wolf PMC. Happy New Year, mate. Have a drink on us, Bootneck. Much appreciated. Thanks very much, gentlemen. It's been a hell of a year. As I said, it's been a hell of a year for my channel. I remember saying to my missus last New Year's Eve, I think I was at like 25,000. It was like a dizzy height for me. Because for the first 2.5 years, before I ever monetized my channel, it was a crawl because YouTube don't like you if you don't give them as much money as you possibly can. And then when I stopped being stubborn and finally enabled it to try and get $1,000 out of Susan's arse pocket, turns out they did me a favour because long-term channels viewers will remember I stubbornly refused to do it for like 3 years. I was like, I'm not doing it. I don't do this for the money. I do it because I believe in it. But then they sent me an email and said, oh, if you monetize your channel and you get like 50 members or something, we'll give you like $1,000 or $2,000 or whatever it was. And ka-ching, I instantly went, oh, I can take money off them. I'll do that then. And that's what made me monetize it. And since then, all my numbers have gone up. Because obviously they're like crooked Hollywood agents, you know. But instead of obviously taking me to the casting couch and drilling me till my eyeballs bleed, instead they just take 20% of all the money I get, which is fine. I mean, you've got to... It's almost like being a politician like Nigel. If you try to get completely out of the system, you won't get anywhere. You do have to play the game. And it's all well and good going to Rumble. But at the end of the day, all the people are on YouTube. So if you want to get your opinions out there and try and make a dent, maybe change some minds. And I've definitely done that. YouTube's the place to be. So it might have hurt doing it in the first place because I'm stubborn. But I did it, and I think it has turned out to be for the good. And if one person has thought, you know what, I won't vote for the lefty candidate, well, then it's worth doing, isn't it? We've achieved something. So Zardoz said I was the first person he ever sucked to. So Zardoz obviously got excellent taste in men, or just YouTubers. If you're not that way inclined, I know a lot of you aren't as comfortable with the mildly homoerotic humour that I occasionally use. It's quite easy when you're a fat, balding, middle-aged married man to make these quips without being... I could imagine if you're like 23 and you're trying to impress a girl at a party and you say, oh, I really love this YouTuber, The Angry Bootneck, and you put him on, and then I'm talking about like humming the national anthem with a sailor's bars in my mouth. I could see how that could put you in a spot. So I do try to lay off on the homoerotic humour these days. But yeah, anyway. Yeah, probably not. Probably not. But what is the term for it? If you're like taking the piss? And it's not homophobic, is it? If you make a quip about being slightly into cock, or at least alluding to the fact that in the Royal Marines they do force you to occasionally strip completely naked in public while surrounded by men, or go out on the lash in Turkey when you've been specifically told not to, all dressed in nurses' uniforms and lingerie because you know it'll annoy them. So, those things. I would argue anyone who's very right-wing and extremely homophobic, I'd argue that going ashore dressed as a slutty nurse or wearing exotic lingerie in Turkey because you know it antagonises the locals, I think that'd be a very conflicting position to be in, wouldn't it? Because on the one hand, you want to do anything that'll offend the locals in Turkey, but at the same time, you don't really want to dress up in a nice negligee like a woman. So it's a tough one, that. It's a tough decision to make. I wish I was more virulently homophobic at the time so I could have understood that deep exploration of the human psyche. But alas, no, I never really was. So I just went out basically exposing myself, annoying the Turkish bouncers, and it caused a massive brawl in Istanbul and about 40 people got arrested. So, it is what it is. What else shall we do? Hey, I've told you this before, Ragnar. We've had lots of chats about this type of stuff because I'm a soft liberal compared to Ragnar. Ragnar doesn't piss around. Ultimately, I don't think most people who get called it are. Just like I don't think most people who get called bigoted or xenophobic or racist are. Some are, like, Ragnar, but but most people aren't. My dad is not homophobic. He's just 68 and from a generation where you were somewhat disgusted if you saw a rent boy dancing down the street across the road from a primary school with a vase up his ring. That's the only thing that my dad doesn't like to see. I don't think it makes you homophobic if you're a little bit uncomfortable. I'm not homophobic, definitely not. And I've always been pro-gay marriage, but I don't like seeing blokes necking on because I'm straight. There's something in you that says that's not good, that. And when I'm watching the telly, and they do it now all the time to just try and piss you off, and two fellas start, I'm going to move this back again. Start to do amazing. I just hope I don't unplug anything or pull anything out. There we are. Hopefully that's better. I don't like seeing blokes necking on. It's just one of them things. They do it on purpose now to piss you off. They definitely do. Because I've told you this, right? I don't know what the film was, because I didn't watch it, obviously. But my missus was watching a film recently. I think it was a very British scandal, right? And I didn't watch it because she was watching it, and there's stuff that I don't watch that much TV, but I'll potter around the house and I'll be doing chores and hoovering or washing pots or making the tea and stand there for 5 minutes. There's stuff I've watched over her shoulder that I've not really watched, but I know the story of because of that, you know what I mean? Like, she went through Breaking Bad like twice because she loved it, and I've never really sat and watched a full episode. But because I've seen so many 5 or 10 minute stints of it over like a 10-year period, I basically know the whole story. Do you know what I mean? And that very British scandal, I swear down, every time I walk past the telly, Hugh Grant was proper yogurt potting some bloke. It was horrendous to see. I was like, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And I'm not homophobic and I've never have been. But I still don't want to see Hugh Grant looking like he's trying to lick the bottom of a yogurt pot while he's necking on with some hairy-ass geezer. So that's just it. It doesn't make you a bad person or a ist or a orb or a ism. If you're just like, why don't I have a live and let live policy? That's not ist, is it? You can say that about people of colour. You can say that about the LGBT community, whoever you want. You're not an ist or an ism. I've got no problem with gay marriage, but my dad has. And if he doesn't want to hang around them, to me, unless you're genuinely going out promoting either taking the rights off them or actually physically assaulting or insulting them in person or promoting hate crimes and intolerance verbally, if you just want to be left alone and have nothing to do with them, how can that be an historianism? You're just walling yourself off. My dad's never, ever spat hatred at a gay person, or punched one, or ever done anything bad to any of them. But they'd call him one. Because when he's watching the telly, bless him, a 68-year-old man, and he sees two geezers tongue punching each other's shit boxes, he goes, yeah, and turns it off. Is there anything wrong with that? Is there anything wrong with that? And linked to the honours thing that I've been talking about, they do it on purpose. This is what I'm saying. They do it on purpose. You've never seen as aggressive tonguing as I saw Hugh Grant and this geezer in anything straight. And I've seen some kinky films. Basic Instinct didn't have as full-blown, zoom-in, tongue down your throat, fully going for it, snogging, as I seen Hugh Grant and this Ben Whishaw fella doing while I was trying to make the tea. It's like they do it on purpose. Never heard that one before. That must be a northern thing. Although I think I first heard it in the car. It might be a jock or a Geordie who said that the first time I ever heard it. But that's it, aye. When you look like you're trying to lick the last morsel from the bottom of a yoghurt pot, that's yoghurt potting. And it's like disgusted public kissing. You use it when you're like on the bus and you see two teenagers going for it. You go like, yeah, no need for yoghurt potting in a public place, is there? And yeah, honestly, well, Jo's got lucky because she's never seen that film. But honest, there's a scene in it where I've seen it with my own eyes for about 2 seconds, and it's like an extended, lengthy scene of Hugh Grant yoghurt potting Ben Whishaw, and I was like, yeah. And apparently, if you don't want to join in, you're a bad person. You're filled with hatred and rage. Yeah, cheers for that. Chris Brown, cheers. Love your videos and the fact you mentioned Laurie Penny a few months ago, a stroke of genius. I've been having a pop at Laurie for at least 4 years, since this channel started, because I've always hated her. I've always hated her since I seen that video of her having an argument with David Starkey, and she talks down to him, and she makes herself sound almost as if she understands the working classes better than an old bloke from like a Quaker community who actually was broke and from a poor background and went to grammar school. And she's like that with a proper plummy accent going now, oh, David Starkey knows nothing about the working classes. It's like, you hypocritical bint. I hate that. There's people who like, you'll get someone who's proper salt of the earth, working class, and then they do like one thing and then they go, they're well posh then. Like, no, if you went to a school that had charged fees, you are posh. I'm not saying they're all bad people because I'm not a collectivist. They aren't. But don't tell me that I'm posh and you aren't. Don't do that, because that's hypocritical. There's loads of nice posh people. I'm not having a pop. As I said, I'm the anti-collectivist. That's why I'm not an ist or an ism or an orb. I go with the maths, so I'm logically prejudiced. Would that be a thing? In some ways, i.e. if I see 20 Somalian blokes coming towards me down a dark alley, I'll wisely turn the other way. If I got on a bus and there's a Somalian fella, I'll sit next to him and I'll try and be his mate, because I like everyone. But I'm logical. It's not an ist or an ism to be logical, is it? And rational. So I'm not collectivising posh people. I didn't hate all the officers. Only 9 out of 10 Sandhurst knobheads were lamentable, detestable morons. 1 out of 10 was good. So I don't even collectivise them. No, I don't. I take each of them as I find them. Just in the back of my mind, there's a bit of my brain saying, probably a knobhead, Matt. And that's from my tour in Baghdad, where I spent like 5 months with a load of Pongo officers, and 9 out of 10 of them were wankers. But 2 or 3 of them were sound. So, again, not collectivising me, don't do it. Crikey, Daz Neil's give me a 50. I think that's the most I've ever earned in my YouTube career. Rest assured, Daz, I'll put that behind the bar in, oh yeah, that can remind me. Daz has reminded me of something I did want to talk about. Let's find the tweet I made, and then I'll dig into this story about this boozer that I saw on GB News a few days ago. Let me have a look. Angry Bootneck. Someone made that for me with AI. That's pretty good, isn't it? Rowan Hill, thanks for that. Definitely not that buff anymore. I need to redo my cartoons, don't I? Let's be honest. I started drawing them when I was in my 20s and I was pretty buff. Now, definitely not. Definitely redo them and give him a paunch. The Angry Big Nipples. That should be my name now. I haven't got thick, lustrous hair anymore either. There it is. The Midget. Let me Google that and see what I can bring up. There it is. Well, there's an AI overview before I read the BBC. So, this, let me just quickly share this tab. So, what happened here is, segue into this. I'll bump it up so you can read it. How do you do that? Bosh. So, that's a bit shit and all, isn't it? Oh, that one? No. This is bollocks. There we go. So, the Midget is a pub in Abingdon that some say is offensive because the word midget comes from the Victorian freak show to refer to people born with dwarfism. However, others say the name is not offensive if it's not used in a derogatory way about a person. Where do you think I sit on that one? Ladies and gentlemen, you know where I sit. I sit in the realm of facts and logic and common sense. Okay? Clearly, I mean, I've said this about anyone shortening a name. I've said it about Joe. We'll just keep using Joe Dacky. You can say Joe Dacky, can't you? That's a nice idiom to use. The shortened version of any country is not a slur if you don't use it as one. So if you say you dirty, stinking contraction, that definitely is a slur and you shouldn't do it. And I think it's awful that kids who people know nothing about have that word spat at them. But if you do what I used to say, because like I tell you, I went to school with two of them, right? My mate Atif used to play footy with him. If you say, my mate Atif, he's a contraction, there's nothing wrong with it. And I don't care what anybody tells you. And same goes for kitchen sink. Yeah, my Uncle Ian used to say, shall we get a kitchen sink ease on a Friday night? And I'd say, yeah, nice one. I'll have a chicken chow mein. Cheers, Uncle Ian. That's not hateful or derogatory. The world's gone mad when you're not allowed to say any of this stuff. Like, if you're not spitting hatred at someone, who cares what contractions you use? Puma trackies. That's a pretty good one. I could start using that one. But you guess what I'm saying? If I used to literally say that, like, I'd be like, oh yeah. Someone would say, do you knock about with any ethnic minorities? You know, and I'd be like, oh yeah, one of my best pals, Atif, he's a Joe Dacky. He's a Puma trackie. And they go, fair enough. It's a massive difference if you're hating on someone. So, anyway, I'm ranting, but you know, I'm a creature of logic, and this stuff's always annoyed me. Exactly, I've made that point many times. Calling me a Brit isn't hateful. I use the contraction for Japanese when I was in a Japanese pub, hanging out with a load of Japanese people, and I made friends with a bloke, a young lad called Masaki, and he said to me, oh, you should come see me tomorrow. We'll play football with my friends, and I'll show you around. So I spent a couple of days hanging out with him, and I used the contraction of Japanese. I said, oh, meet my mate here. He's a contraction. And some mixed race American bloke, who I didn't know from Adam, popped out of nowhere and went, oh my God, that's disgustingly offensive. And I was like, sorry, who are you, knobhead? Why am I talking to you? And he starts trying to lecture me about this. And I said, Masaki, are you offended at the term I've just used? And he went, no. And I went, so jog on, knobhead. It's as easy as that, isn't it? And I don't care what the society says, polite society. I don't care what the talking heads say, and I don't care what the British government has to say. Let the average Joe in the street and your own conscience be your searchlight. You don't need to get told by these people. Now that is ridiculous. And I told you, the reason I make a big deal of this stuff now, and I say it publicly and I don't care who knows, is because A, I know you'll never get anyone come out who'll tell them I was actually hateful towards them, because I'm not, and I like everyone. I'm a people person. And B, it does matter. I think slamming this type of stuff, the use of terms like that, or contractions, or banter, or jovial humour, especially between the people of the British Isles, is bad for society. They talk about harming society. I'm sure the absolute lackwit that started this ridiculous, pointless petition thing, I'm sure her argument would be using that term is hateful. And the point I'd make to her is, you're an idiot and you don't know what you're talking about. Not using it is hateful, because the way men especially bond is by banter, jokes, taking the piss out of each other, calling a Scotsman a jock or a Welshman taffy, or whatever, an Englishman a limey if you're in the United States, or an Australian an Aussie, or heaven forbid a contraction for a Japanese man or a Chinese person in a pleasant convivial manner can never and will never be hateful or hate speech or xenophobia. The human brain doesn't work that way, and the English language doesn't work that way. It's all about context. It's how it's used. And it is harmful to get rid of it, because when you're ruining people's ability to get on with each other, and you're ruining people's ability to make friends and sense of humour and all of that stuff, you're the one having a negative effect on the world. And that's what I tell the absolute gibbering imbecile that caused this whole kerfuffle. So let's read the story and you'll get a bit more about it, because it was on the BBC. Here it is, because they're trying to stop this happening. And the point I bring this up for is, right, I'm due to return to the UK. I haven't been back since I started working here. So it's been nearly 2 years. I haven't been home for about 2 years. So I want to come back. I'm thinking February or March. I'll do a live, BBC Spews live, and we'll do it in York. I'll find us a decent event space or a boozer with a big function room, whatever, and we'll do a live thing. And I'm telling you, if this gets any traction and we can make it happen, I'll swing by the boozer and I'll stick £1,000 behind the bar. I'll put my money where my mouth is, because I've made money this year off YouTube that I never thought I would. Not big money, but, you know, if I have a good month, I'll make a couple of grand. Dollars. That is, not pounds. It's not a lot of money, but if I have a good month, like I've had standout months in the last year, and I've had some, and you make some cash from it, I will happily lump £1,000 behind the bar if we stop that name change from happening. And I'll invite anyone who wants to go, and we'll do a stream. And I'm well aware, caveat, I may get nicked when I land. Because if it gets any traction, they'll know about it, won't they? But I'll read you the story, and then we'll talk about the event. So, Counter-petition in offensive pub name row. This is from the 13th of November. So it hasn't been resolved. If you go on Google, the pub's now got a different name, but it hasn't happened yet. It's called the Midget, Green King, Bury St Edwards. It's near Oxford. So it says, thousands of people have signed a petition to reverse plans to change the name of a pub after it was labelled offensive. Owners Green King announced last week that the Midget in Abingdon, Oxfordshire would be changed after 1,300 people who don't drink, 1,300 sparrow-born soy boys who don't drink, signed a petition. Since the announcement, a counter-petition to restore the pub's name has received twice as many signatures. So what we need to do is, where's the petition? Let's have a look. Midget counter-petition. Because they won't link that one. They won't link that. Here it is. Found it. Oh, it's up to 5k. Bosh. Found it. So, I'll put it in the chat now. There's the petition. Sign that. Let me just go and drop it on X as well. Sign this. Bosh. There we go. I've stuck it up on X. So basically, I'm thinking. Sorry, I've got too many tabs open now. There's the petition. 5,093. Green King are trying to change the name of the logo to the Roaring Raindrop. I'm sure a lot of people will disagree with this decision, and in my opinion, think it's ridiculous. It's part of our history. Please help support the petition. Set up by Joe Lawler. So, doing my part, share that, sign it. And essentially, if this stops the pub getting its name changed, because 1,300 busybodies, and I did read some of the story, and there was an interview with said busybody in one of them. Let me find that. Here we are. Doctor Erin. What? How right am I all the time? Who, if you were just going to quote me from one of my many videos, what would you say I would guess would be the person behind it? A woke, middle class, insufferable, highly educated white woman. That's who's upset about it. Not a dwarf. Not a dwarf. When they're whinging about, ooh, you're not allowed to call it the Lion King. That promotes, colonialism. You've got to call it the infant of a feline background. Shut up. Because it's not an African telling you this. It's some big, fat, purple-haired, sparrow-boned soy madam, right? So it's nonsense. And Dr. Erin Pritchard, who launched the original petition, told the BBC, that name is very offensive. I'll do my soy thing because they always have a speech impediment. Have you noticed that? Every woke activist or politician, they always have a speech impediment. I've never heard anyone woke who hasn't got a speech impediment. So I'll do it. That name is very offensive because it is screamed at you in society and it is shouted at you as people giggle at you with their friends going, haha, look, there's a real life midget. Has that ever happened in real life? Has that fictional occurrence ever happened once in real life? Find me a dwarf who's been walking through Waitrose. I'll pick the posh supermarket because it's always the middle class insufferable smug walkers who end up actually being prejudiced. Find me a single dwarf who was walking through Waitrose and anyone pointed and stopped and chuckled with their friends and went, look over there, there's a real life midget. Never happened. Never happened. So that's brilliant. Anyway, she continues. It screamed at people in society. Erin, you really are just whale spunk. You all know the phrase by now. Dr. Erin Whale Spunk Pritchard. Dehydrated, crusty whale baby batter. That is you, Erin. You haven't got a Scooby-Doo, have you, you silly mare? Anyway. Ha, people screaming at you. There's a real life midget, boys. Never see them. But Abingdon resident Amanda Buckingham said the pub name was only offensive if it's used about a person. People go in the pub and they don't think about a person. There's a big sign with a big picture of the car, and the decor of the pub is all about cars. And everybody knows it's about cars, and changing the name is not going to stop people from calling it the midget, and it's not going to stop people from using the term in a derogatory way. Dr. Pritchard retorted that the pub names change all the time. Oh, so it's still made a part of the local heritage. Yeah, but you don't drink in there. You don't drink in there, knobhead. You don't drink. You're one of them fair weather knobheads who used to turn up when I lived in York. I hated them when I was living in York. When I was living in York, there was a boozer. There was a boozer, right, in York called the Phoenix. And it was a really good little local bar right near our house, just inside the walls in York. And we used to go in quite regular. And on New Year's Eve, we went in one year. And it was ram-packed with whale spunk types who don't go to the pub. And no shit, I'm not making it up. There was a geezer there with a woolly pulley on, like a loud woolly pulley. And he had a beard. He looked like Jerry Adams. Like, he just looked like one of the modern parents. Like a beardy NHS Geggs, woolly pulley, and he was in front of me at the bar, and he really was going, oh, that sounds like a delicious drop. What's that? May I have a little taste? May I have a taste of that? Oh, yes, it's a bit hoppy. Yeah, what about, can we try that? Oh, look, Jemima, they've got pickled eggs. Oh, should we get a pickled egg? Marvellous, I haven't had a pickled egg yet. Shut up and get a pint, jam jars. Here, jam jars. We should change the name of this pub to the Sailor's Fist, like the one in Borough. And then all the you knobheads won't drink in there. I mean, obviously it'll be a glassed doorman on the steps you have to step over and, all the windows are broken. But these are the people that repulse me. And that don't drink. And Dr. Pritchard hasn't been near a boozer in years. She knows nothing. If she went in there, she'd be like, oh my God, working people, they're foul, aren't they? Aren't they, Ermintrude? They're foul and they smell. My God, that one's got a cut on his knuckles. I bet he's a brawler. He probably got that punching a lesbian. Oh, it repulses me. And they drink too much and they vomit sometimes. And I've seen one of them eating a pork pie. By God, it's awful. These fucking people don't go anywhere near boozers. So, why? Why are you pandering to people that don't go anywhere near the boozer? It's mental. It's mental. It's like your local family butcher going, oh, we're not selling meat anymore. Why not? You sell 200 pork pies a week. Yeah, but we might upset a vegan in a small village 238 miles away. It makes no sense to me. It's the definition of madness. Anyway, a bit of a rant. I'll carry on. The people of Addington might say, oh, it's because of the car, but it's still putting that word out in society. Where do you think the name of the car came from? The word midget was derived from the Victorian freak shows to refer to people with dwarfisms. She added. Zoe Bawley, managing director of Green King, another bird, said, oh yes, we've got to change the name because an activist from a university said so. If the name was Dave Brown, he'd go, oh, well, I thought about it like Dave Brown, a landlord, a Mackham landlord, said, I couldn't give a shit, like. That's what it'd say. If it was a man without a college degree up north, it wouldn't be siding with Professor Soybones. It wouldn't happen. Dave Brown, local landlord from Sunderland, said, Hadaway and shite like, tell the professor to suck me balls, man. That's what they'd say. Because they pander to the customers and not the whims of a faceless stranger with purple hair and a coach ball fired through a tongue and an arse like the back end of a bus. So Zoe Bawley needs to get with the programme, just like that absolute plank who worked for Yorkshire Tea and thought it was a good idea to pander to some walkists who don't drink tea. These people are mental, okay? And again, Mr. Brown would just say, suck it. The locals like it. You're not a local. You don't drink in here, so who cares what you think? Anyway, so the idiot says, yeah, we're going to change the name. We're going to change the name and it'll help everybody, blah, 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 blah. Soy. And that's the end of it. So the short version is, there's the petition. Let's see if it's gone up already. Well, hey, there we go. Bootneck. This is what I'm saying. You got to play the game. You got to play the game and get on the tube, even if you don't like the people that run it. What have we added? 40 signatures there? That's us playing the game. Save the midget. So, as God is my witness, let's sum up. If this gets any traction behind it, and we can get it up to, maybe we'll get it to 10,000 signatures, and we make a bit of a song and a dance about it, I'll go to the midget, and I'll stick £1,000 in behind the bar. And all the locals can get pissed in there on my dime. All right? And I'll do the link one more time, because I did it a while ago now. Short version, yeah. There isn't a short version. There's the link. Sign it. Yeah. If we change the name, I'll only accept a different name change if we change it to Bizarre Dwarf Shizer. If we call it that, I'll accept it. Bizarre Dwarves. That was one of the pornographic magazines that was in the Viz. Someone was reading a copy that made me laugh. Bizarre Dwarves. So do that. Daz Neil's got 280,000 followers on Rumble. Oh, great. Well, that's good. I never knew that. Kick my ass then, Daz. Put it on there. Let's get people doing it. You've got a pub called Ye Old Black Boy. Oh, no, that'll definitely go. But again, we can change. We'll keep a name change if we call it the Big Smelly Somalian Vagabond. I like that. It's got a nice ring to it. So there we go. Shared the midget. Do it. If we get traction, they don't change the name, we'll go and we'll all get pissed in the midget. All right. Brilliant. Sounds like a plan. What time is it? Oh, I've still got 20 minutes. Right then. What else should we talk about? I'll just get off my soapbox for a second and think of something else sensible to say. Let's have a look. I don't need to really say much more about the knighthoods thing, do I? As I said, they do it to get you annoyed. So you got to just laugh. The way to keep calm and carry on is to laugh. As I said in this post before I made the video, they're trolling you. They want you to get angry, so don't do it. Making a video mocking our pointless and corrupt honor system and the likes of Emily Cowhead. I hate Emily Cowhead. Just out of interest, is there anyone in the chat who doesn't know about Emily Cowhead and why she's so reviled by the British working classes? I'm pretty sure everybody on here has actually paid attention, so they know. Oi, Jim Bob Bean's important now. Jim Bob Bean's become a YouTube member. Well done, Jim Bob. As I said, it's not about the money. £2.40 a month or whatever it is. But that one thing seems to keep YouTube off your back. They respond to your emails, they don't delete your content, and they don't block you and ban you. So it's worth doing if you've got £2 a month. All right, what else have we got? No clue. Online killer has no clue. All right, then let's do a story about that. Emily Thornberry, white van. It's unbelievable, this. Unbelievable. She had to resign because, and now she's back like a bad smell because these worms do it on purpose because they want to make you angry. So you don't let them make you angry, you take the piss out of them. I forget I'm a sad bastard and I read the news far too often. So, in short, I'll read you the US Guardian version of it. All right, let's blow it up a bit. So, it's 10 years old now, this story. There's the picture. Normal house with a couple of flags on it because the football was on. Normal. A British politician lost her job over a tweet. How to explain it to someone outside the UK? If you're not British, Labour politician Emily Thornberry's resignation for posting a tweet of a house, some flags and a van may seem baffling. Here's why it happened. Not really. Not really. She's ignorant, she's arrogant, she's smug, she's condescending, she's hateful, unlike the things they say about us, which is ludicrous because we have a bit of a laugh and a joke with the immigrant communities that we get foisted upon us, and we go to school and help raise and educate the little Indian kids whose parents brought them over in the 80s, and all of a sudden I'm hanging out with them. They call us hateful because we make a laugh and a joke with them when we're playing football on the playground. But when Emily Thornberry has genuine contempt and loathing and hatred for working class people like you, they don't think that's hateful. They don't think that's hateful. That little screed I went on earlier about Ermintrude and oh my God, he's got rough knuckles. Oh my God, it's awful. How dare they? Oh, they drink and they're sick. Oh my God. That's how they think. They do hate you. They are hateful. They despise everything about us and our culture. My dad's a welder who likes to get pissed 5 days a week when he was working. They hate that. It's alien to them. They think you're an animal. They think you're stupid. They actually think you're stupid. I know I've got a chip on my shoulder, but I've told you, I've talked to these people in pubs because I'm a talker. And I'll be in some middle-class leafy shire with my missus when we're doing the tourist thing. And I'll randomly start chatting to some professors in Oxford and they'll say ridiculously condescending things. They're like inadvertently offensive. And I'm too nice to people to just have a go at them when they don't mean anything by it. But they do. They go, oh, I never imagined a Royal Marine would have the first clue about Charles Darwin. Oh my God, this is delightful. And I go, yeah, we do read occasionally. They think you're a moron. They think you're an inbred hillbilly, not even one rung above Mick Philpott, and your children roll around in the hay with the sows like it's the 1400s, and they have contempt and hatred for you. That's why I'm ranting. That's why Emily Thornberry had to resign. Anyway, rant. I'll read you their version so you actually understand it and you're not just listening to me kick off. So, she resigned because she committed an embarrassing and potentially devastating faux pas. At worst, she had shown her and the party Labour contempt for the patriotic working classes. David Cameron said, effectively, Ed Miliband's Labour Party sneers at people who work hard, who are patriotic and who love their country. And I think that's completely appalling. Well, David Cameron doesn't think that's completely appalling because he's a liar. He's a born liar and he's woke and he also hates the working classes. But he wasn't stupid enough because he's definitely cleverer. He might be a snake, but he's definitely cleverer than Emily. Dust the Battenberg crumbs off your blouse, you big fat heffalump Thornberry. He's definitely much cleverer than her. And she tweeted this photo with the caption, "Image from Rochester." And that's it. There was nothing bad about it all. Just a normal house in a normal town during a football tournament. And she tweeted it as if it was like appalling to see. Appalling to see such things. Oh my God, how dare they like football? Football. I bet she'd watch the Kabaddi tournament. You know, that daft Indian sport with her. Kabaddi. They love out like that. I bet she'd sit in a wigwam, eating a soy burger, drinking French wine, smoking Iranian cigarettes, and extolling the virtues of foreign writers. But how dare an Englishman want his country to win a football game? What a load of bollocks. Philip Klein, I totally can't understand a British political scandal. Yeah, you know why? Let's click on him. Is he still on Twitter? There you go. Editor of NRO, National Review. He's going to be a knobhead he's going to be a walking knobhead, isn't he? Yeah, look at him, knobhead. Anyway, sorry, I'm reading through a different tab now. While the actor Frances Barber admitted her difficulty in explaining the nuances of the affair to her American friends. No, it's because you're woke as well then. You're woke and you're trying to play catch up or cover it up for them. It's obvious. What do you mean it's hard to explain? Let's see if anyone in The Guardian manages it. How would you explain it to someone? Islington. Posh, bourgeois, cultural elitism. Thornberry. Oh, but she takes photos of building. Oh my God. The case was not helped by her subsequent comments. I've never seen anything like it before. It had 3 huge flags covering the whole house. I thought it was remarkable. You didn't. So there it is. And they weren't covering the house. They weren't even covering like... What is that? That looks like 2 houses. Semi, right? They're not even covering 1/10 of them 2 houses. So you're a liar, Emily. You're a big, fat liar. And it's contemptible to you. And I can explain it. I can explain it easily to anybody who's watching from America. She hates working class people flying their own flag. Their own flag. And as Mr. Boyle says in the chat very, very astutely, if those flags were all Pakistan flags and they were on the front of a house of a Puma trackie, right? She'd have went, oh, no, flying those flags is respectful. It's respectful for his own country, but he loves England just as much. Because they always live in cloud cuckoo land and can believe the exact opposite of the truth every single time. If you fly that, you fully are in the Gestapo, even though the proudest moment of your childhood was getting told by your granddad about fighting the Nazis at D-Day. Certainly with me and probably everyone in my generation, because I was born in 79. Even though your nation's proudest moment was standing against the Nazis and both your granddads fought them, if you have the temerity to put those flags up, you're evil, right? You supported the Holocaust. You definitely think it's perfectly acceptable to butcher 6 million women and children. You think that's totally fine because you flew some England flags. But if you flew the 3 Pakistan flags, that'd be culturally perfect and you'd be a good person and you'd also love England just as much as Pakistan. You definitely would. Definitely would. Yeah. Shut up, Emily. It's like saying if you eat 8 chicken legs, you're definitely still a vegan. It only makes sense if you walk. When they fly a foreign flag, they say, oh, they love England just as much, even if it doesn't make any sense. You don't see Turks flying England flags at the football. Oh yeah, just get me England flag out. Why? Because I love Turkey. Doesn't make any sense. But when they do it, that's what they'll say. Because they're mentally ill. And we know this already. Crikey, loads of people are joining the channel as well. Brilliant. And Joe's even gifted some memberships. Thanks very much. What is this? Hawk News. Anglo-Saxon, don't come back. You'll get banged up with Robinson. I've told you. I'm going to take my chances. Hawk News, two quid. Thanks very much, Hawk News. Much appreciated, mate. I'll spend that on booze. Rest assured. And thank you, AJ, for joining the channel. It's always appreciated. I've told you, the plan is I will wear a Texas-style cowboy hat, travel on my US passport, and talk like this in Heathrow Airport, fellers. And when I get there, they'll say, obviously, I just need to add one caveat. Every single customs official will be from Bangladesh. So there's one. And they'll have big beards and turbans, and they'll say to me, "Oh, you are an Englishman?" And I'll go, "No, feller, I'm from Texas, and I've come here to see my long-lost cousin Stan." And they'll go, "Okay, business or pleasure? Pleasure, definitely pleasure. How long are you staying now? Just a couple of weeks?" "Sorry, just a couple of weeks, feller." And he'll go, "Oh, we don't trust you. You sound a bit strange." And I'll go, "Now just wait a cotton-picking minute, boy, I say, boy." And they'll go, "Oh, no, he's definitely American because he sounds like fog on, leg on." And they'll let me go. And that's my genius plan. So the other thing is, if I'm flying on an American passport and I work for Elon in a leadership position, if I miss work because I've been arrested for nasty tweets, I'm confident that will eventually end up on Elon's desk because he's only like 6 rungs above me or something on the chain of command. It's like tech, lead, supervisor, that's me. And then you got manager, senior manager, director, and then senior director, and then the big fella. So if my boss has to tell a director, "Oh, listen, you know, that bloke who soups a team out in Vandy, he's not at work," and they'll say, "Why?" And he'll say, "Well, he phoned me from prison." And they'll go, "Prison, why?" And he'll say, "Well, you're not going to believe this, but it's because they found a tweet that he wrote that said, 'Emily Hans IQ of a ham sandwich Thornberry isn't fit to run me a bath.'" And they'll go, "What, is that it?" And they'll say, "Yeah." And then hopefully it'll cause a diplomatic incident and President Trump and Elon Musk will have to get involved to rescue an American citizen traveling on an American passport with a cowboy hat. In fact, I might put a MAGA hat on. That might work better. I might put a MAGA hat on in customs just for a laugh. They probably won't question me if I wear a MAGA hat, will they? And that's plan. Daz Neil's got to be making it up. There's surely too many coincidences here. It's not worth moving to California, you know. If you can't, I would recommend staying in Starbase in Texas, or you can go to Seattle even. I'd pretty much recommend anywhere but California because Newsom taxes the balls off you. So no, I wouldn't recommend coming here. But yeah, so maybe it'll cause an international incident. Plan A is get away with it because I'm flying on an American passport. Plan B, try and cause an international incident. That's the plan. I have got over 1,000 watching. According to my counter, I've got 1047, which I think's a new record. Clearly, as I said, they've stopped stifling my numbers. Although I do wonder how many actual followers some of these big channels have got, because there's people out there with 250,000 who don't get 1,000 on a live stream. I think GB News have got 500,000 subscribers or something. When they do a live stream, they've got about 400. So it's quantity, not quality, ladies and gentlemen. And if you're one of my 63,000 followers, you've obviously got impeccable taste. That's what it is. Anyway, 77th Brigade will be waiting for me. Yeah. Oh, brilliant. I'd love to get my hands on, what's he called? Tobias Norwood. Tobias thick as wood, because he is another chopper, isn't he? Right, that's nearly an hour. You can have that for now, you twat. I am going to tidy the house and put all the beer in the fridge and get ready for all my pals from work to come over. So I hope you lot have a good 2025. It's going to be a shit show. Going to be a shambles. poor old Trumpy has got his work cut out just trying to fix America. So I don't think he's going to be able to do too much for the UK other than hopefully spitting some insults at Stam a lot. But you never know. You never know. Fingers crossed he can achieve something for you in the UK. For you lot, all I can tell you is batten down the hatches, keep that stiff upper lip and a sense of humour in adversity, and just know that unless I am in Belmarsh for tweeting at Keir Starmer that I thought he couldn't run a piss up in a brewery, I will be here making content for 2025, trying to provide some morale for what you're going through, because 2025 is going to be bad in the UK. It's going to be bad. But all right, that's all I've got time for. Thanks for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for all of the support this year. It's been a fantastic year for me and the channel. Thanks for all the free booze. Thanks for all your assistance with everything. Thanks for signing the petition. And I'll see you all in the Midget, all right? Probably in about March. Take it easy. See you later. Toodle pip. Cheers.